Welcome to the Imperfect Dads Podcast. This is your host, Devin. We believe dads care deeply about their family and kids, but they don't always have a space to discuss what their life looks like. Our podcast is a space for dads to discuss the ups and downs of fatherhood and how they feel like they're holding it together or how they're not. Thank you for joining us for this episode. On this episode, we have on Raheem Jarbo, better known as Mega Ran. We talked about his life as a digital content creator, his experience as a foster parent, the process of adopting his son, the nerves around adopting his son, his love of wrestling and video games, creating music for kids, writing ska songs, and what it's like whenever he goes on tour. Make sure to check out his new album under the name Mega Ran, and the album is called Buddy's Magic Treehouse, wherever you listen to music. And also just like one more thing.
Dad, just start the episode.
Oh, my bad. Welcome to an episode of the Imperfect Dads Podcast. It's great to have you on. Really appreciate it.
Thank you. Appreciate you having me.
Of course. First of all, introduce yourself, say what you do, all that good stuff.
Okay. I'm Raheem Jarbo, aka Mega Ran. They call me teacher, rapper, hero. I'm a musician, former educator, author, podcaster, and most importantly, a dad.
Yes. Well, it's funny, even before I asked you, tell us a little bit about yourself. And I'm like, you do like a million things. So I don't know how you'd elevator pitch yourself, but now I know.
I used to think like, okay, you introduce yourself by like the thing that you do for a living or like the thing that, keeps the lights on, I suppose, or that people know you the most for. And nowadays, like, it's just become like this even like pie of just, there's 4 things that I do for a living, mostly content creator for Instagram. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I'm mostly a guy who posts memes. That's my my main job because I literally just got off an email with a guy in London I'm playing a show with, and he's like, hey, so one last push, let's try to sell this out. We're close to a sellout. So maybe you can post something funny online and just like that was his first thought. Like,
fantastic.
Yeah, if you just post a funny joke or something, then maybe people will pay attention enough to want to buy a ticket.
Because as a dad with 3 kids over here, I look at a show and I'm like, is it going to be funny if I go? Not, how much does the sitter cost? How much does the show cost? Because how's all this work? I'm like, does he have dope memes? Let's see if he can do that.
That's right. Are you bringing the funny? Because otherwise, I'm staying home.
I'm not going. Man, it's so fun to try to convince people to care about something. I also feel like as a dad and just as a human being, that's most of my life is like, can you please just care about this and let's talk about it?
Man, it's so hard. It's so hard. I just did this really good interview with a friend and then I find myself having to ask like, okay, so when are we going to post this? When are we going to put it out? How are we going to make it appealing for people to come and find this thing? And he's like, I don't know. I just posted, man. Like, and I'm like, oh, that's so cute. Like, I wish I had that mind where I was like, hey man, I just do it. Like I had fun and I just put it out and hope people find it. I don't rack my brain the rest of the week thinking about how to get people to care about it. And I was like, wow, that's pretty great.
You just hope someone finds it and they're like, I respect this and I like it. I feel like anytime I've tried to put the extra energy into promoting an episode, like I'm going to really focus on what made this episode unique. It never really makes that much.
Doesn't work. So you may as well just put it out into the ether and,
you know what?
Whatever happens, happens.
If it's supposed to happen and people care about it, then they will find a way to care about it.
Uh-huh.
Anyway, besides content creation, I know you are a dad. Can you tell us how many kids you have, ages, all that good stuff?
I have 1. My kid is 3. He'll be 4 in October. So he's like very close. He's like 3.9 at this point. And that's it. I have 1. My wife and I are foster parents, and we decided to foster to adopt. Maybe during the pandemic, we got into taking foster classes and just kind of seeing where the journey would take us. And then you get so much advice. And I think that's most of what parenting is, especially when you're like a young new parent, is everyone who's done it before has so much advice for you. And so we came into it as completely new parents, so we're getting even more advice. So it's advice on the foster side, advice on the adoption side, and then advice on the parenting side. So people are like, okay, so I know you want to adopt and you have this, this fairy tale story of how this little stork is going to bring a little precious baby to your door. But adoption is not like that. Everyone wants a little cute baby and it's not going to happen. And we're like, okay, like they were kind of mean about it. And then once we finish all the coursework, they're like, all right, you'll get put on a list. And so they'll call you if, there's openings and fits for you. And next thing you know, they're like, "Oh, you're not gonna believe this. There's a 3-month-old." And
Are you
I'm like, "Oh,
serious?
well, look at that." Like, the thing that they told us was not gonna happen just starts happening.
Yeah.
So, it's just a lot of timing things worked out, I think, coming out of the pandemic and things like that, where they were just the first one, maybe we kept for like a week. We had this baby for a week and it was like very emotional
Hmm.
to have to give a child back. And you're like, "Oh
Yeah.
man, I've been changing diapers. I've been, doing everything." And just hearing from our mentors about how hard it is to not get attached. Like
Yes.
try your best to keep an attachment level in check. Impossible. Like
Yeah.
you're keeping a child alive. Like there's
Especially a
no way to
baby.
not get attached. A baby.
A baby.
So
Yeah.
yeah, you can't just be like, "Wow, yeah, I'm giving you back soon, so you're not getting all of my love."
Yeah.
It just doesn't happen. So, it's not realistic for people to ask you to do that. But, in the back of your mind, you're just, constantly trying to prepare for the worst, where it's like this kid might go. And then my wife took it really hard. And
Yeah.
I was on tour when the kid came and he was gone before I even got back.
Oh my gosh, really?
I got to see him for one day. We stopped in Phoenix for one show, saw him for one day, went on, and then like 2 days later, she's like, "Hey, they're taking him back," and I'm like, "What?" So we
Dude,
were
that's
like,
brutal.
"Yeah." So she's like, "I'm not sure if we could do this anymore." So we
Yeah.
kind of take ourselves off the list for a minute,
Okay.
and then later we get back into it, maybe 6 7 months later, where we're like, maybe it's just our job to be there for a child, no matter how long, you know? And so you really have to kind of come to grips to that. Like, well, it may be a month, it may be a year, but you're doing whatever you got to do to help that child get some stability. So we're like, all right, we're gonna dive back in and see what happens. And then sure enough, another 3 month
Another
old baby
dude.
is like, here you go. And this one they drop him off and the social worker says, "Oh, you're gonna have this baby a while. Like we know he's been through a lot. We know the parents been through a lot.
Mhm.
He's gonna have him a while." And we're like, you're not supposed to say that. Like,
Yeah.
we're definitely not supposed to get our hopes up like that. And then sure enough, it took a year or so, but we were a year plus, and maybe I think it was almost 2 years. Yeah. So then we were able to adopt him. So yeah, he's been with us ever
For a
since.
long time. For
A
a while,
very long time.
the social worker was correct with their assessment.
Yeah, it's I guess they really know this stuff. They see these cases, but we had come in and got like the worst case scenario first day crash course. Like this
Yeah.
is how hard this can be.
Yeah.
And even through the coursework, they tell you about some stories and you're like, you think you're prepared for everything.
Yeah.
And then once, a child's in your home, it definitely changes things.
Well, I mean, I don't know how you can look at like a 3-month-old baby or any age baby and like hold it and know that you're there to protect it. And then like a week later, hand it back and then just be like, this is a normal thing. This is how my days normally go.
Yeah, it's wild. Like my heart really goes out to like social workers and people who do this, man, because it's like you do have to get some sort of level of detachment
Hmm.
out of it somehow. And I'm like, but how? I have no idea how you can do that. Like their entire day consists of just going to house, taking a kid, picking up a kid, just constantly. And so, yeah, I don't know how they do it. Yeah.
I got nothing. It's genuinely even the thought of doing that with like anyone. I'm just like, no, I don't know. And how do you keep your, I would just want to protect myself and build up a
Yeah,
lot of
yeah. You really
walls.
want to protect yourself. I mean, there were times where it took me a while to, get into like changing diapers
Yeah,
and things like that, where I was just like, oh man, this is a very, kind of intimate thing. And I'm like,
very much so.
being just trying to protect myself. You know what I mean? And then eventually, of course, all your guard comes down and you just love that kid like it's your own.
You do. Had you ever, before having the baby, had you ever changed a diaper before, or was that your first experience of changing one?
First time. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd never changed a diaper before.
Yeah. You didn't have to do that. When the baby is born, their first poop is like super tarry and super sticky and stuff like that. Yeah, you missed out on that experience, which I bet you're okay with.
What a shame. What a shame. I would have loved to see that.
Yeah. It's not so. That's when you're in the delivery room. Everything happens, and like the nurse looks at you, and they're like, "You have to change this one," and you're like, "I
No.
feel like this is a game that
Like,
I just lost for some
mm,
reason."
yeah. Oh, that's rough.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Tell me about what the actual process of adopting was like. Was it like a long process, or like? Because I feel like I've heard it takes a long time. It can take a long time. I know it's a whole
But yeah.
thing. Can you tell me about that?
Yeah, it took a very long time. Like my
Mm-hmm.
wife's better with dates, and everything to me feels like a million years
Yeah,
or
yeah, yeah.
24 hours.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, it was quite a process. We were going to court every week because in the beginning the parents were still pretty active, the birth parents. So they were discussing whether or not they could get the kid back, and we would be on these hearings. This was right after COVID, so we didn't go into a courtroom, but we'd be on the phone and we hear phone calls, and we've just had to keep on mute and just listen,
Yeah.
unless they asked us to say something. And they would just tell the parents what they have to do. Like, here is your plan to get the kid back. And so we're just listening, and it's X amount of visits, it's this and that, and also going to rehab to fix whatever, issues
Mm-hmm.
you may have. And so you have this list of things to do, you do them, and you get your kid back. It's that simple. So we're thinking like, oh no, like this is probably the end.
Yeah.
And then, you have another hearing 3 months later, and they're like, so what's your update? Have you done any of these things? And they're like, no, Your Honor, we haven't. So there's
Yeah.
no meetings, no rehab, no very little visits, you know. And then, okay, we'll do this again. I'll see you in another 3 months.
Yeah.
And then it's another 3 months, and we do it
Yeah.
again. And they're like, nope, no updates. Sometimes the bio parents don't even show up for the hearing.
No. Yeah.
And so we're like, man, how long do we have to do this? Like it really feels like torture.
Yeah.
And so then another 3 months, and then you do it again. And then we start talking to our social worker, like, what's happening? Like, and they're like, you just got to be patient. And so basically you're just building up a case. That's really literally what you're doing. You're building a case. And so when it is time, when you feel like you have enough evidence, then you go to court, and then they read it all out for you. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so we have had 7 different hearings where we talked about 5 different steps, and they have completed 0 of these steps in this year and a half that we've been going through this. And so, yeah, basically you're just building a case. And so in the process, it's like, you're doing a stakeout. You're sitting outside with the binoculars, and you're like, there's the guy, like you see the guy doing the thing. Can we go bust him? And the cool cop is like, not yet.
Nah.
You're like, but he's doing
We got him.
the
We
thing.
got him.
We got him. He's like, not yet. And so they take some pictures, and then they're just building a case. And that's really what it is. And so eventually we go to court, and even then it was, still scary. So they're like, hey, are you guys available for a hearing on this Tuesday? And we're like,
We are now.
yeah, I guess. And then they were like, bring family, bring friends. It's a good thing.
Okay.
And we're like, all right,
Yeah.
but again, you're still guarding your heart,
Of course.
but I mean, yeah, this is almost 2 years into this process, and they're like, yeah, just come to court. And so we bring all our family, we go to court, and we listen as they read off the list of things. And it's like this damning evidence where it's like, okay, and parents not even there. You know what I mean?
Dude.
They're just, so
They're wherever.
yeah. And so they're telling us like, don't worry. Like, this is like literally when we read this to the judge is not going to have any choice but to do the right thing. But they also tell you that the number one goal in foster work is reconnecting. Reunification is the goal. So if a 5th cousin just pops up tomorrow and says, hey, I want my cousin, come on.
Mm-hmm.
This is over. You know what I mean? Like,
Dude.
if that person passes all background,
Yeah.
like it's the goal is to get them with family, because once they're with family, they're out of the system and they're out of our hands, because we have 1,000 other babies to worry about.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, God bless them, man. But yes, if I have an opportunity to get one off of my caseload, yes, go with your cousin. And so that's the goal. And so it really gets tough to be in the middle of that and see this happening, having no control, no updates. Like, they're not telling us, we got them, it's going to be fine. It's, we're waiting, we're waiting. Sometimes we actually had to take him for visitation, where he would, someone would come to our house. This is probably the hardest part of it all.
Yeah.
Is someone would come to our house and say, hey, I'm here for the baby, like to take him to go see his family.
Yeah.
And we can't go. And they're like, we'll be back in an hour.
Yeah.
You have to hand off your child.
Dude.
And, and hope he makes it back.
Yeah.
And sometimes they brought him right back, where they were like, all right, well, they no-showed. We waited 20 minutes for him. It was like me on a Zoom call, where they were just like, sorry, man, wrong time zone. I don't know.
Yeah.
And clearly, and then they just bring him right back. Sorry. And meanwhile, we live in Phoenix. It's very hot.
Mm-hmm.
This kid was in a 100-degree car, or, in a 100-degree environment, and brought right back. He's burning up on his back. You know what I mean? And I'm just like, I don't like this.
This is not ideal.
But again, these are going in the notes. This is case stuff. And so by the time we got into court, it was quick. It was the quickest time. I mean, I haven't been in court very often in my life, but it's definitely the shortest trial. Even in TV, it's pretty shortest trial I've ever seen. You know, he reads off everything. He says, and the judge even asked, like, so what's your recommendation? And he said, my recommendation is that this child goes and stays with the family that he's already with, because this is his family.
Yeah.
She's like, done, boom. And we got out of there. We celebrated. And, but they always told us, like, it's not over till that gavel hits.
Nope.
You know? And like, there could be times, and I mean, I've heard so many stories where they're like, come to court Tuesday, Monday morning. They're like, wait, don't come to court Tuesday. Something else happened, So it could have, like anything could have happened. So I just think it went the way it was supposed to go. Like it's just so many like dominoes fell the way they were supposed to, that it makes me really feel like we were at right place, right time, right child, like right family, like everything just really lined up so perfectly that I feel it was meant to be. Even when he called me a bad person today when I tried to brush his teeth.
How dare you?
So yeah. So, even on those days, I realized how special it is.
Yeah. I mean, I think it's interesting to get older. My sister and brother-in-law are both lawyers, and they've explained that to me of like, if you're in court, you're kind of creating a narrative and establishing patterns, because patterns matter. And even if like patterns matter more than intent. So if like the biological parents are like, but we want to know this kid, it's like, you don't show up to anything. Like let's establish a pattern, because your words say one thing, your patterns kind of define your character.
Absolutely.
So it's but that's still exhausting. You're sitting there and you're like, I'm doing the right thing. I'm doing the best that I know how to, and you're just hoping that like you get to have this kid that you love and you've been raising for like 2 to 3 years.
Yeah, it's tough, man. It's really tough. I've it makes you contemplate some crazy things.
Yeah.
We're only a couple hours from Mexico, so
you can make it. You got it.
I don't know. Throw a sombrero on them and hit the road.
You'll be fine. You'll be good. That's awesome. I don't know how the foster care system would approve of that decision, but however,
maybe not. But
you're in Mexico. What do you care? My youngest son turns 4 in September, so like in a couple weeks from now. So our sons are about the same age. Is your son in the extreme storytelling phase of life? Because my son definitely is.
Yeah. Well, yeah. These stories they're great. I get a story every day, especially from school. He's in preschool, so he'll tell me about his friends, Taylor and Joey and somebody else, and he'll start giving me all these like really long stories. And I'm like, okay, and what else happened? Like, what else? Like, I just want to keep him talking, so I don't mind. So I just like, and what else? And what else? Yeah, the stories are really fun.
They are, and there was ridiculous. I love the does your son? My son talks with his hands a lot whenever he tells the stories. So he'll be like, there's a dinosaur over here, and there's a butterfly over here, and I'm more watching his body language than listening to his story after a while.
That's great. Oh man, he'll make a good public speaker.
Yeah, one day. Whenever he runs for office. Yeah, that's what.
He's learned early, like I love wrestling.
Yeah.
And I watch a ton of it. Not with him though. We try not to watch it. But the one thing they always talk about is like learning to like project.
Yes.
Like if you're speaking, especially in wrestling where it's a squared circle. So you're in a ring, but you're surrounded by people on every side, but you're working the camera, which is for TV. And so, but you also want that person way up in the cheap seats to feel you and understand what you're doing. So you got to project, you got to use these hands and get bigger than life, when you're expressing yourself. So yeah.
Okay, here's a question I just remembered. In high school, since you brought up wrestling, I'm sure you're aware of this album, but I just have to check. You have listened to the Macho Man Randy Savage rap album, correct?
Mm-hmm. I? Yesterday. What are you talking about?
You were listening to it while waiting for this phone call.
I have a friend. Oh my gosh. First of all, I really like wrestling, by the way.
Yes.
I have a friend who's in a band. They're in the UK. They're called the Small Packages.
Okay.
They're a wrestling band, and they just cover wrestling themes.
Okay.
And they actually asked me, hey man, we should collaborate one day. And I said, absolutely. And they're like, hey, we're working on this thing right now. We actually been working on it for like a year, but with the timing, it's a little weird, but check this out. And they sent it to me, and it's like a perfect cover of Macho Man's Be a Man song where he's dissing Hulk Hogan.
The entire
It's like
time,
a
yes.
perfect cover. He's like, oh yeah, I was just thinking you could just do the last verse on there. And I'm like, I kind of know this very well. Like, I definitely could do this, you know? Like, you found the right guy, like, of all the people. Like, I know it, and I know it very well. So, yes, I'm familiar with that album.
Good.
My favorite is the, I think it's the last song, My Perfect Friend.
My Perfect Friend. Is it to Kurt Hennig?
Man,
Is that right?
Kurt Hennig, Kurt Hennig tribute.
That's right.
Yes.
I found that album in high school. And I remember just like, I had like a Plymouth Voyager van in high school. Something like, I'm the youngest of three. So like my parents were like, be glad you have anything that works, type of car. And I remember just blasting that in a CD player, looking as white as possible, listening to that album. Like, let's just double down. Like, let's just keep the whiteness going as much as possible. Rolling up in school, cranking the window down so I could look at people.
It's like, it's really like that comes up. That album comes up to me.
It's good.
More often than you think. Like, people mention that album to me probably 3-4 times a year.
Seriously.
And it still feels like a fever dream. Like, this did happen. Like, this was a thing.
Does any other professional wrestler have a rap album or a music career?
John Cena has an album.
Oh, sure. Yeah.
I think he's the only one to like really have a successful one. I think he like went platinum.
Okay.
Gosh, I don't know. There's other wrestlers that make music, but I don't know about like full album type stuff. Yeah. But yes, John Cena and Macho Man, that might be it.
I've never wanted to be in a recording session so badly for the Macho Man Randy Savage rap album. Because he says, oh yeah, in like every single song on that album. Yeah. And they probably had to give him notes of like, I didn't believe that one. I need you to give me the oh yeah
give
again.
Me another one. Yeah.
Give me another one.
Give me something guttural.
I didn't feel like when you dissed Hulk Hogan in this verse, I didn't really feel like you meant it. Can we do it again?
And like Macho Man, he gets a lot of credit for, he's also my favorite wrestler of all time, by the way. But like, he gets a lot of credit for being the most like in character wrestler all time.
Yeah.
Like there's very little footage of him not doing that voice.
Yeah.
Like in his entire life. You know what I mean? Like he has stayed in that character that, you know what you good. And so it makes me wonder how he's able to keep his throat, first of all.
Yeah.
Together for a whole rap album.
Yeah.
So it's very impressive. I would have loved to have been in that session just to be like, okay, I need a throat lozenge, brother.
People talk about Daniel Day-Lewis doing method acting. Maybe Macho Man Randy Savage was the best method actor that we'll ever see in our entire life. He never broke character once.
Maybe. I mean, you're talking like 30 years.
30 years.
From his debut probably in the 80s to the end. So yeah, that's impressive. Like that's some serious method acting.
That is fantastic.
Like he would do TV interviews, like everything. It was just completely in character.
And like the amount of like flair, like the fringe on his jackets and stuff like that. Like I love to think about people's day-to-day lives. That means he went into his closet and it's just jacket after jacket with like fringe and buttons and glamour and glitter everywhere. And he's just like, oh yeah, this is the one to do.
Yeah. That's pretty amazing. Like it is. That's why I believe he's the greatest of all time, because he fully lived it, living the gimmick, they call it. He would never let the gimmick go.
No, he was full in on the bit. I know you love a lot of things such as wrestling and video games. Are you hoping that your son also loves those things so you can like nerd out with him about it? Or are you trying to be like, don't push him into wrestling, let him discover it on his own? Like how do you feel like you'll approach that?
I want to let him discover that kind of stuff.
Okay.
Of course, I hope so. I mean, like video games are such a part of my life. He watched the Ninja Turtles the other day and I got really excited, Then there's a Ninja Turtles video game. Hopefully I can get him into.
Yep.
I think that those things are good gateways to get them into stuff. Like if you pick a cartoon you like and then they wind up making the cartoon into something else. So maybe, but we play video games once in a while. He's found this really old Fisher Price firefighter game that he really enjoys. You drive through with the joystick to a house and then you put the ladder up and you got to rescue like kittens or people.
Yeah.
And he's into that, but he's learning them really quickly. So I think I need to find like a little more advanced games. Like once he gets it and does it 2 or 3 times, he's kind of bored. It's like, oh, same thing again. And I was like, this is how these games go. It's the level 3 now, It's like, I'm good. So he's like a little too good. So I probably need to find games with more challenge. But yeah, I do hope he gets into those things. I have friends who always say, "Oh, I bet your kid is the biggest gamer."
Yeah, of
And
course.
what if he just never likes games? Like, what if this guy becomes like a chess master? He's just not playing a video game at all, or just like captain of the football team. Like he could go a completely different direction, and that's okay.
That's fine.
Yeah, totally fine.
That's all good. Since my son is like the same age as yours, of like trying to find like that I want to challenge them, but also whenever he throws a tantrum and loses his mind because he doesn't understand it, that's also not fun. So
Yeah.
do you feel like you're finding that balance also of like, let me challenge you. Oh my God, you're too young to grasp this. Please stop screaming
Yeah.
and crying.
Yes, all the time. But I'm really happy. My wife bought Candyland, one of her favorite
Yeah.
board games of all time, and he started playing it with us, and he loves it. He had a great time, but he won the first game, so he's really excited.
Yeah.
He didn't win the second game, and he was not
Yeah.
happy.
Not so
And so
much.
then he wins the third. We had to like fight to keep him in the game. We're like, wait, you can keep playing. Like you're not out yet. You know, Candyland is fun, but and so they kind of tell you in the notes like there's a certain symbol that will knock you backwards,
Yeah.
and they say for younger players maybe don't use this.
Don't worry about that one.
Because they're not going to take this well.
Yes.
And sure enough, they will not. So, but there's also one that they should have told us not to use, where if you get a certain popsicle, it takes you almost to the end of the board immediately.
Yeah.
And the moment he sees somebody go past him, like then he's freaking out. So yeah, it's been really fun watching him. But yeah, we've had to like really fight to keep him like being a team player when it comes to that
Yeah.
stuff.
And I don't know if you play like board games in general a lot, but like to
Mhm.
me, like understanding the rules and abiding by the rules is like board game 101, unless you're playing with a 3 or a 4-year-old.
Yes.
And then you're just trying to like, how do I teach you how to enjoy this at all? Oh, it's only if you win. Oh, how's my ego today? That's basically what I now have to ask myself for the next hour of
Yes.
us playing Candyland.
Yeah, I gotta ask myself. Like we play basketball, we shoot on a little basket,
Yeah.
and he always wins. We race, he always
Yeah.
wins.
Yeah.
And I got to think about the day that I beat him and how that's gonna
Yep.
like what that's gonna do to him and how he's gonna be able to react to it. And yeah, it's fun.
Yeah.
I almost beat him in the race the other day.
Did
I was
you?
like,
Then you eased
I was
off at the
ahead
last
and then I
second?
slowed
Yeah.
down because I saw him slowing down. Like
Yeah.
he saw me get ahead and he just gave up.
Yeah.
And then I was like, oh, I'm tired.
I have 2 older daughters, also a 9 and a 7-year-old, and they luckily understand that part of the game. So they'll like race to something. They'll be like, "But I want to be first," and then they'll be like, "Oh no, I suddenly started running in sand. Now I'm a lot slower." And then he passes by them and he's like, "Yeah, I won." And I have to like walk up to my daughters and be like, "Thank you for being nice to your little brother.
No,
Like that was very nice of you."
that's
That
cool.
also stopped him from screaming for the next 10 minutes.
Yeah, that gives
So
you 10
just
minutes
it's not worth
apiece.
it. Yes.
Yeah, it's not worth it. Like
It's not
many
worth
things
it.
in life, I think that's probably the best parenting thing I've picked up is like just choosing your battles.
Basically,
You
yeah.
know, like, yeah, it's like, do you want to have a meltdown? Like, do you want to deal with it? You probably don't. So figure out how to get around it, but also not giving them exactly what they want.
Correct, yes.
Just give them a choice and hopefully they, they pick the better choice or make up 2 choices that are, both what you want.
Right?
But yeah, like having to avoid the meltdown, especially in
Yes.
public. Like
Dude.
where you're in a shopping mall or you're in a supermarket, it's like, all right, I really don't want the meltdown here. So what do we do? Yeah.
Do you? I feel like I should have a second career as like either a hostage negotiator, basically, because I feel like there's so many times where it's like, "Hey, man, we need to put down the toy that you picked up for the checkout aisle." No, it's just don't not like this, not like it's
Yeah.
constantly trying to defuse a bomb that you didn't know was set in front of you.
Yes. Our thing is, man, like in the morning now, like mornings are a challenge. It's
Yeah.
usually me. My wife's working from home.
Okay.
So she's here, but not here, not
Yeah, I get
fully
that.
available
Yep.
for him. And so when it's just me and mom's not available, he gets a little, not so understanding of that. And so yeah, it's like, but the goal is to get him out of the house in a good mood. Like we want school to go well. I definitely don't want him showing up crying or having a
Yeah.
fit, so getting him down to a happy place before we go, has been, that's my everyday mission.
There was one time my parents watched the kids, and I think I'd like taken them to like an indoor trampoline park or something like that. So I showed up and they were exhausted and hungry and like already crying. And I was like, "I'm sorry. I also have to go do the thing I said I was going to do. I'm the problem here, not you guys. Thank you for helping out with my failure of knowing how to parent today."
Gosh.
It's my bad. Because it feels awful if you drop off your kid in there. Like, I don't want them to start the day at school or whatever screaming and crying.
Yeah.
That's just, that makes me feel like I've done parenting wrong that day.
Yeah. Yeah. You really feel like you just screwed up. Like you're not doing this well.
Basically. And your kid just wanted like a second waffle, or they wanted to put their socks on and not you. And you're just like, but couldn't you have eaten it in the car or something? Like,
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know how this works anymore. Well, let's talk a little bit about like kids music, because I know have you made one or two kids albums now?
I've made 2 now.
Two,
Yes.
yeah, man. Congrats. Tell us what made you
Thank you.
make the shift from making beats, making raps and all that to actually doing kids music.
Well, I was already doing like, I guess what people could consider kid friendly. Like it's
Yeah.
always been clean, fun stuff, but more based on like maybe more adultish properties when it came to like Marvel comics or video games or things that older people cared about.
Yes.
Retro games and things. But yeah, I think just playing music in the car with him and him wanting certain sounds and realizing what he was into made me think like, I don't know if I have any of that. Like he enjoys like hearing my voice on a record. But I was like, I don't know if I have the songs that would fit in with what he wants to hear. And so it made me start working on new music. And I was like, all right, well, maybe I can make an album that kind of grows up with him. Like we start with some of the younger issues and then we move into the next one. So first one's called Buddy's Magic Toy Box. And it's just mostly about just fun stuff about growing up and counting and little things like that we were going through. And then the second one is Buddy's Magic Treehouse, which is where you start to develop imagination. You start to think about having fun. You start to think about friend groups and, things like that. And so, yeah, it's been really, really a cool situation, like trying to make these songs for him. And he's been into them. Like he really loves them. Like when he gets to see me play live, he's dancing to the songs.
That's cool.
Yeah, he's having a blast. I've given CDs to to his school.
Yeah.
So they play him around, and when they play him, they say that he goes over and turns the volume up. Like when they're not looking, he's like turning the volume up.
That's so cool.
Like he's like, that's my daddy, and
that's really sweet.
That's really cool. Like I really enjoy that. And I don't know if he knows that that's like a special thing. Like everybody's daddy isn't like coming out of the radio.
No, of course not.
But yeah, he's having a blast with it, and he enjoys like letting other people hear it and
that's
seeing
cool.
them. That's what's cool about it.
When you record, do you go to a studio or do you have a home setup that you do it at?
I go to a studio.
Okay.
I do a lot of like rough drafts at home and things like that. But ultimately I go into a studio. I feel like it helps a lot with my creativity.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Having a little time away,
Yeah.
I've tried to bring him a few times. He gets a little shy in the studio.
Okay.
And so I want him to kind of say something in the mic and he gets a little shy. So I record him at home and then I'll take that to the studio.
That's cool. Yeah.
Things like that. But yeah, I like being away. I think I started doing it after pandemic for sure, because I was, stuck in the house and doing everything myself. And I'm like, gosh, I got to get out of here. Like, I can't like roll over, look at my equipment and get to work. Like, I just can't, like it makes me not want to focus, so I like treating it like it's a job. Like I step out of the house and go to the office. So every Wednesday I go in the studio. I'm there for a few hours, whether I have something to do or not. And we sit down, usually something cool comes out. But I make sure to treat it like a job. Like this is creative time, so this is going to be the time that I work on getting all my ideas out, all the voice notes and things that I wrote over the week or so,
Yeah. I've talked to quite a few musicians now, and a lot of them, I always like to ask them like how much their voice memo app is used and how ridiculous their voice memo app is. Cause one guy was like, yeah, I'll be like on a run and I'll be like, okay, second verse. It needs to go, and then he listens back to it later, and he's just like, I have no idea what the hell any of this meant.
Yeah.
But in the moment, it was I need it in the moment, though. In mile 2, if I didn't record it then, I was going to lose greatness, so I had to record it and just.
Oh yeah, it's impressive to me. I've heard of a lot of musicians where they just don't write anything down, like they kind of memorize what they got to do. They memorize a rhythm, and they just go in the studio.
How?
And I don't know how. Like, I'm so afraid I'm going to forget something. Like,
of course.
I'm so bad at that. Like, I just cannot do that.
I mean, I feel like my mental space is like, it's like, okay, I'm thinking about this. Wait, who needs what? What need am I meeting right now? What's going on? Who's I'm not? And then it's like, what are you thinking about? And I'm like, I legitimately don't know. Like, if I started saying somewhere and like a kid asked a question, my wife's like, what are you going to say? And I'm like, I genuinely have no idea. She's like, how do you not remember? And I'm like, I don't know. I'm actually kind of embarrassed how quickly my mind just went away from that thought.
Things will just be gone. I'm like, oh man, that was really important too. Like that was really good.
Yep.
And it's gone.
Yep. And then you'll be driving a kid to drop them off at school, and then it'll pop back for half a second. And you're like, I got it. And your kid's like, got what? And you're like, wait, what do you mean got what? And then it's gone. It's
It's
just
gone. Yeah.
gone forever. Have you toured that much since having your son and having him be fully in your custody and care?
Yeah, not as much, but yeah,
Okay.
I was touring pretty hard. And even this year, I took a really long tour. It's probably the last really long one I'll do.
Yeah.
I did about a month.
Oh,
And
that's a
it
long
was,
time.
yeah, it
Yeah.
was rough. I was only home for like a day
Yeah.
out of
That's
that whole
brutal.
month. And we did the whole country. Yeah, it was difficult,
Yeah.
And especially now, like my kid doesn't really like FaceTime.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
doesn't, he understands that it's not real. And so now he's like, no. Like when I'm on the screen, he's like, nope, that's not daddy. Like, nope, that's just a phone, you know?
Yeah.
And like, it's me, and he's like, no. He's like, he used to say, go home, daddy, go home, and I feel like, man, I can't, so it made it really difficult. Now he's getting a little better with it. Like we have to explain to him, like, this is all we got for now. Like you gotta talk to him through here, but he does not like FaceTiming at all.
I love that your son can already cut through the BS and be like, this isn't really you. And like, you have to respect it, but also you
Mhm.
probably desperately just want to connect with your son. So,
Yeah. I'm like, oh man, where's the imagination? Like, come on,
yeah,
guy.
he's being way too literal. Like, I know you don't live in this phone. Come live back in the house. And you're like, yeah, that's good.
Like,
That's
you got me.
accurate. That's
You,
good. That's
you,
good realization of how the
you
world works.
are right.
What about, because you're about to go to the UK for a couple of shows. Do you, I'm assuming he stays home with your wife and everything whenever you go out on tour the
Yeah,
entire
we
time?
do.
Yeah.
Every once in a while, though, we do weekend gigs where he's
Good.
able to come. Last one was Philly. We did like a Comic-Con
Yeah.
and we brought him and it was a lot of fun. But it does like mess with our routine for
Yeah,
sure.
absolutely.
You get put into a hotel room and it changes up. He loves hotels though. But yeah, it's just like, okay, now you're in this small cooped up space. You don't have your own space,
Yeah.
you can't touch everything, it's a tough time. But I really enjoy it though. Like I've been when we can, like when the
Yeah. Yeah.
situation prevents really like presents itself where we can be together,
Yeah.
I'll try my best to. So I'd like to take more gigs like that in the future
Yeah.
where, we can all be together.
Yeah.
Ideally, I think that would be awesome.
Yeah. And you're from Philly, right?
Hmm.
So I'm sure you could like I would have also made that into like the family trip of like seeing the extended family, trying to do all that
Yeah,
stuff. I
yeah.
don't know
We
if
had
that
some
was what you did
Yeah,
with it
yeah, we had
too.
some family come and see us, and we were
Yeah.
able to see a few folks as well. So that was a good time for him to be
Yeah.
there for sure.
That's cool. Do you I'm assuming you probably don't make it back to the East Coast as a full family too much.
Not that often.
Yeah.
A couple Thanksgivings ago, we did.
Okay.
We went back, stayed with my cousin, and brought the kid, and we saw everyone we could see
Yeah.
while we were there. They had a big dinner and brought everybody over. So
Sweet.
yeah, every once in a while when we can.
Yeah. It is surprisingly exhausting though, whenever you're in town.
Hmm.
And I'm from Indiana and live out in Colorado. So yeah, whenever we do like the big trip back, it's always an event. And it's like, I mean, this is all good. I love all these people. But after a while, you're like, I'm usually used to a lot more quiet or like a lot more like my own space.
Oh yeah, yeah. I used to just not tell people, because especially if I'm in for a gig,
Yeah.
it's like, hey, I'm coming in, I'm playing a show, and I'm going home the
Yep.
next day, or I'm going somewhere else. And they're like, oh, well, take a minute and go see your cousin over here and come over
Yeah.
there and go. And I'm like, okay, I can't.
I can't. I
And
literally can't.
I literally cannot. But I'll tell you where I'll be.
Yeah.
So here you go. If everybody can come this place, we can all hang out, And so now I try not to say too much. If I don't have time to see everybody, then I just don't tell everybody.
Yeah. It's, I love situations where it's like, I don't feel like I can win if I don't tell people if I tell people I'm in town, they're going to want my time. I got no time to give them. And then if I don't tell them, then I feel like I just lied to people I love about where I was. And that's not a good
Yeah.
feeling either.
Yeah, it's a really tough thing. Like, but I feel like the hurt of them knowing I was here and then didn't see them, like that's pretty bad. But
That's brutal.
but yeah, like, but feeling lied to is also that's pretty bad
That's so
too.
good. I had a friend who was in town for I think he manages artists, and one of his artists was playing with like the Savannah Bananas or something like that, and he like
Wow.
posted about it on Instagram, and I was like, dude, are you in town? He's like, yeah, for like 12 hours, and I was like, enjoy the
Okay.
stadium, enjoy
Yeah.
seeing the green room of that stadium, enjoy getting on that plane, have fun, man. We'll see you next time.
Yep.
I do want to say I love the Dino Stomp song just because you doing a ska song I think is so bold and so awesome that you pulled off a ska song and that it is successful like it is right now.
Thank you. Yeah, the song's been doing great. I felt good about it from the
Yeah.
moment we put it together. But yeah, I was like, you know what? This is something people won't really expect.
No.
You know, me being a hip hop kid, but like also, down, really down deep inside, loving ska, loving punk. So just wanting to do something like that where, all right, let's combine all these crazy things like
Yeah.
imagination, dinosaurs,
Yeah.
ska,
And
and
education.
and education. It
Yeah.
was really fun. And I had a blast with it for sure. Thank you.
Yes. No, I remember listening to him like, is this dude doing a ska song in the middle of this
Yeah.
album? This is fantastic.
People kept saying like, "Oh, you got to do the Mega Ran ska album next." Like, I don't know how, like, but you got to give me a whole album of ska. Like, I did one ska record on the last album too, called Recess,
Yeah.
where, yeah, it's just I love horns. I just
man,
love
they're
all that,
awesome.
all the great music stuff that happens in ska. It's just so danceable, and so yeah, I'm just like I think that might become my thing, like where we just
Yeah.
make one ska record every
Yeah.
album.
The people need it. Whenever you do your beats, do you make all of them? Like, did you because the bass line in that song is freaking awesome. Like,
Yeah.
how did you come up? Like, I'm going to be nerdy. I studied production and stuff. How did you actually like make that song? Was it you or was it you and a buddy making it? Because that bass line is legit.
Man, thank you. Okay, so that song actually came together from like me starting off in like a DAW, like Reason or something like that. I put it together. I get the skeletons of everything. I can't really play a lot of instruments. I just
Okay.
know what sounds good.
Yeah.
And so I'm grabbing the keyboard. I'm doing some things, and then I call in all my friends. So I'm like, all right, these drums are crap. Let's get a drummer. And so we get a drummer. Then I get a bassist. My friend Isaac did that bass. He's done bass for like so many famous folks.
Cool.
And so yeah, I had a bass line, but I'm like, hey, I need you to really
ska
make
this up.
Yeah, ska this up, make it cool. And he did a great job. And he's like, I love ska. I can't believe I never get to play ska. Like he was so excited about it. Then I get a trumpet player, my friend Danny. And then we get a guitarist, my friend Dean.
Yeah.
And he's like, hey, I'm going for like some surfer vibes here, like some Beach Boys, some
Yeah.
Are you okay with that? I'm like, that's exactly what I want. And so yeah, so I create a super rough skeleton at home, and then I send it off to my friends. And so basically just built a band on the internet.
Yeah.
We haven't all ever played it or been in the same room.
That's crazy.
You know what I mean? We just all played on each other's parts. And then I put lyrics on top of my version, and then they just made it sound amazing. And my friend Felix did the final mix.
Yeah.
And he said this is like the toughest mix he's had to do. Like he's primarily a hip hop guy. So he's, used to like 2-track beats and a few things going on. But this was like a 43-track session or something.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, this is some real music. Let's go. So it was fun for me to really like challenge him and get him to do something else. And once he finished, he's like, oh, I feel like I can do anything now.
Yeah, man. Now, I mean, ska has some of my like if you want to learn to play bass, just listen to a lot of ska because the bass lines in ska are just like so adventurous and it's a journey. Just follow the bass line. Just ignore the horns. Just follow the bass line. You're like, where's this going? This is so good.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, I had a blast with that record. Like, it's awesome. It's like one of the first times I really got to talk about it. Like, but yeah, putting it together. And when I did the first one, Recess, it's kind of the same way. I think we started with bass too. I was listening to a bunch of Aquabats and cool stuff like that.
Heck yeah.
And I was just like, okay, I love this bass. I want to try to get this sound happening, and I would try and try and try. I think there's old videos of me too, like trying to do it on the keyboard and just not, I'm just like,
I wouldn't know how to do it. Yeah.
I don't know. I'm just like, having fun trying. And then ultimately it just turns into this beautiful thing when you bring in all these like great pieces to make it happen.
That's awesome. That's really fun. I would love to see ska make a resurgence because, like, I feel like
Me too.
now the people who made ska like in their 20s should all be dads by now, right? So I mean, all of you guys should be like, hey, this is what I loved playing and listening to as a kid. So this is what my kids' music is gonna. Yeah.
Yes.
It's not gonna be dad rock. There's got to be a good play on words there that I am not smart enough to think of right now. So
we'll think of it. Yeah, we'll get it.
So. How we end all of our episodes is we ask every guest a series of 5 questions. So it's not rapid fire. You'll have a chance to think about it. They're kind of fun, like dad icebreaker questions. And the first question is, I'm going to mix it up. Normally you do a kid backup name. Oh, actually, I'll ask you this about your son. Did you get to, whenever you adopt a kid, do you keep the name that they're given? Do you change the name? How does that whole process work?
Well, you can decide.
Okay.
And it put us in an interesting spot because we called him, we were always calling him by his given name.
Yes.
So we wanted to keep that name or keep a part of it somewhere, keep it alive. And, but they were like, well, yeah, you want to give him your last name, don't you? And we're like, yeah, we do,
Sure. Yeah, that's a good one to
So
have.
we spent like a week just kind of going through and trying to find the perfect name for him. And also would reflect a part of his original name, because we
Yeah.
would always call him Izzy. Izzy was his name, and it sounded like a nickname, but that was just his
It
actual
does sound
given
like a
name.
nickname. Yeah.
And so we were like, well, let's see if we can get something with that Z kind of sound working in there. And then it took a long time, and then we agreed on Zion. And we're like, okay, so
Nice.
Zion works, so we can also still be Izzy.
Yeah.
It kind of works as a nickname. But yeah, it was a fun process, coming up with the perfect name. His middle name is my wife's father's name, so we're able to connect it to the family in that way. And so that was cool. That was something I hadn't even thought about. But once we were signing the papers, they had a blank there for like what his new name would be. And we were like, oh, we get to do this. I'm like,
That's
oh, okay.
cool.
So it was a really cool situation. Like we were like, wow, like we got some thinking to do. We're gonna leave this blank for a moment, And so yeah, it was cool.
Next question. Do you have a favorite TV or movie dad?
TV or movie dad?
Yeah.
I'm gonna say Danny Tanner from Full House, because I love a dad joke. I just love a corny dad. I feel like that's me. I'm a corny, kind of cheeky dad. So yeah, Danny Tanner is my that's my focus there.
We've had a couple guests say Danny Tanner and then immediately be like, also, I think some of his OCD tendencies might have been repressed grief from the loss of his wife. I don't know.
Yeah, maybe. Okay,
Maybe
yeah,
a little bit.
possible.
Maybe, possibly. Next question. I know you do a lot of like clean content and everything. Do you have a replacement curse word? Like whenever you stub your toe and Zion's in the room, what's the word you say instead of the curse word? Or do you say the curse word?
Oh man. No, I just say the no. Gosh, that's so funny. Just yesterday, we watch a lot of King of the Hill. So dang it comes out a lot.
Dang it.
Dang it, Bobby. And so yesterday, my wife said, dang it. And then he repeated it. And we're like, okay, well, I don't think I want you to say that. Let's come up with something else. So we were just talking about this yesterday, like how we're going to come up with a new word. We haven't yet. One of my students, when I used to teach, he used to say dips. Whenever something went wrong, he would say dips.
That's awesome.
I like that one. So we might start using dips. Like, oh, dips,
It's a hard thing to find because like sometimes I want to say the word fluffin' or something like that. It's just so fluffin' stupid. Then I'm like, well, they'll know what word you meant. Like, because it's a balance of like, you don't want to say the word, but if you say something too close to the word, then they know what you meant and they're smart enough to understand that. So
yeah, and they're kind of saying the word. Like if I don't know, if you got a report that your kid was walking around saying everybody's fluffing stupid,
they know what they're saying.
You're not going to be happy about it. Yeah, like okay, you should stop that.
It's
great. Yeah, it's when it sounds the same and has the same amount of syllables and starts the
same cadence and everything.
It's the same. It's that's kind of bad. So that's why I like dips, because it makes you just do something completely different. Like sugar.
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm still working on it, but we're gonna try to get that one to
go with dips.
Going in our house.
Dips. Yeah. Well, because you have to think of it because it's not because of like if a kid curses around the house, it's like, okay, come on, don't do that. But if they do it in school, you're like, no, seriously, you can't. Like you can't walk around saying this word. You can't do that.
I took him to a rap show the other day, and it was at a store, so it was like an in-store appearance, and these guys are rapping. And man, I don't know what it is, but about the F word, but it just seems like it's so much louder and clearer and more fun to say than any other word in the language. So this guy just decides to say it, and then instantly my kid is saying it. And I'm like, he said a lot of other words too. Like, come on. Like, it was just instantly. The guy was like, F around. And then he just came outside like, F around.
And you're like,
no, don't do it. Yeah, that was.
In his defense, the F word is a very fun, gratifying word to say, but he shouldn't know that yet. It should wait.
No, he's not supposed to know that yet. Yeah, so he'll even say like, "Oh, that's a bad word." Like he knows it's a bad word, but he also knows it gets attention,
gets reaction, gets an attention,
makes everyone turn. So he also knows that. I got in trouble in first grade for that, and I'll never forget it. I heard a girl curse, and in like the gym.
Yeah.
And I'm like, she said a bad word. She said a bad word, everybody. And they all were like, well, what did she say?
What was it?
And I'm like, well, she said, and the next thing you know, I was in the principal's office.
Yep.
They're like, oh, he said a bad word. And I'm like, wait,
here's where you don't expect it. Just as a heads up, a public restroom that has graffiti on the walls. You'll be sitting there whenever your kid is starting to learn how to read. That happened to me with my middle child.
No.
We were like at a bathroom, she was going pee, and she's like, "What does that word say?" It spells shit. And I'm just like,
They're like sounding it out. Oh no. Oh man.
and I'm
Wow.
just like, I'm equally very proud of your literacy and also disappointed in the graffiti of this burger joint.
Oh my goodness.
So that, just so you know, that might happen. That was
Yeah.
one of those parenting moments where I'm like, that's not something I expected to figure out right now in
Right.
this moment.
You're like, here we go.
Here we go.
Got it.
Let's
We
do
got
it.
it. We got to do it.
Let's do it. Don't say that word. What word? Well,
That word. Yeah.
the word you just said. I was like, shh. And you're like, no, that's
What word?
okay. All
And you
right.
just
Well, now you got it.
keep doing it.
Okay. You're very smart. And I respect this, but also hate this at the same time. All right. Next question. Do you have a favorite kid's toy or activity? Like, what's one of your favorite things to do with Zion?
Oh man, there's so many things, but he loves hide and seek.
That's cool.
And
Yeah.
so I like hide and seek with him. He's learning, he's learning on my hiding spots, but he still loves to play. And so sometimes if I go to a different place to hide, he's probably peeking because then he'll be like, no, daddy, go to the bedroom.
Don't you love that?
And I'm like, but I'm supposed to be hiding from you.
Yeah.
So occasionally I can still catch him where he doesn't find me. But yeah, we love hide and seek. You do it every
My
day.
kids will do that also. You go to hide and like, that's not where I wanted you to hide. And you're like, I thought I'm 6'4". So like me hiding anywhere successfully is very difficult. So but I'm like, no, I found the one spot that you actually couldn't see me whenever you walked by. And they're like, I don't like that though. And you're like, what's the point of the game?
Right.
What are we doing here?
Oh man, my kid is he's not very good at actually hiding. He wants
No
to be
kid
found,
is.
and so yeah, he wants to be found. He loves that part. And my wife has to say something like, you're supposed to like hide. Like,
Like,
he'll just
hide.
make noise. He'll laugh. He'll like hoo-hoo or something like that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, but you're supposed to be hiding.
I feel like my son will take a laundry basket and put it on his head. And the laundry basket even has holes in it. And he's sitting there like, I'm hiding. And you're like,
I'm like, but I see
are you? Are you hiding?
I like to pretend. I'll even frustrate him because I'll just look over him and
Yeah.
man, I don't know where you could be.
Yeah. That's one of my favorite games
And he's
to
like,
do.
over here, daddy.
I'm clearly right here. I'll put my son on my shoulders and be like, has anyone seen Josh? I have no idea where he went. And he'll just go like, hi, like that over my shoulder. And I'm like, I'm enjoying this while my back is still able to carry you on my shoulders. So.
Exactly.
All right. Last question is there a moment of your son's life you're most like excited to see him be a part of, accomplish, or anything like that? Like as you think about your son's like life, existence, and all that, is there anything where you're like, man, I really hope he has this experience as he gets older?
I had a friend talk to me about his kid. I don't remember his kid's age, but he said he was riding with him in a car and he played some music for him. And he played some older jazz or something. And his kid knew who it was. And they had a conversation about the music. And he's like, oh my gosh, like this is the moment I've been waiting for.
Yeah.
Like I'm having a music talk with my kid. And so I think that is something that'll be very exciting for me. Like hearing his favorite songs and being able to talk about why it's your favorite. If he enjoys the music that I listen to, or he's able to show me something that I didn't know about and tell me why he loves it. Like, yeah, I'm looking forward to a music chat for sure.
Yeah. That's awesome. My kids I collect vinyl or records, and my daughters are now also, I'll let them buy records as well, just because I want them to have that experience of putting it on, spinning it, reading the liner notes, reading everything. Because I'm like, this was so much of my childhood, just like getting a new album, sitting down and absorbing it. If I can encourage this as much as possible, then like, that's good. That's really
For
nice.
sure. I stayed at a friend's house once and his kid, gosh, I don't remember how old he was. And I wish I did remember, but he had a record collection and he would say, Dad, can I show them my records? And I'm
That's
like,
so cool.
yes. And he would show the records and he's like, I'm going to put on my favorite. And he put on the Beatles.
Heck
On
yeah.
this little 45. And I
Yeah.
was like, oh man, I can't wait till my kid can do this. That was
Well, because like you spend so much time with your kid in which they can't speak and they can't express themselves. And then you just hope for the moment where like they can express themselves through art and entertainment and all this stuff. So like, it's such a cool moment whenever, I hope your son also was like, hey, here's my favorite album. Let's put it on together, Dad. And you're like, I've done something
that would
right.
be a great moment.
And then only other thing I have for you is just moment for self-promotion. If we want to like follow your Instagram, let's find your music, all that good stuff,
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So you can follow me on the Instagrams and the Twitter. I still don't call it X.
Yeah.
I'm on Blue Sky as well. You can type in Mega Ran. It's Mega_Ran on Instagram. MegaRan.com for all the music releases and things like that. Links to my videos. I have a new kids YouTube channel, which is YouTube/Mega Ran Kids. Has all my new music plus a bunch of shorts of me and my kid acting silly. And yeah, you can go and check all that stuff out. MegaRan.com. It looks like Meg Ryan when you're like not really paying attention. Because like the capital M and the R. So you're going to be like, is that Meg Ryan? You know,
is this Sleepless in Seattle? As a kid?
Something I hear once in a while. Yes. Yes, it is.
That's awesome. Yeah, man, that's pretty much all I've got. I really appreciate your time. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Devin.
And I'll talk to you next time. Thanks, man.
All right, later.
All right, bye.
Thank you for listening to the episode. Make sure to follow us on Instagram at the Imperfect Dads Podcast, and make sure to subscribe and rate us 5 stars wherever you listen to us, such as Spotify, YouTube, and Apple Podcasts. The music is provided by The Wild Feathers, and all episodes are produced by me. Make sure to tune in Mondays for new episodes.